And we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Hey, you're a little lower than me. I can tilt my screen.
I'm lower.
Yeah. Do you want to get you? No, like, yeah, there you go. I can't be higher than you. The higher, the fewer. All right, so welcome back to Starfleet Boy. We're live today, and we're going to do a live watching or viewing of the first episode that ever aired of Star Trek, the original series, The Man Trap. Um, it was not the first episode that people saw. The pilot, The Cage was, and then also the second pilot, which was Where No Man Has Gone Before, which was also aired as the third episode. So really kind of funny thing. But this is the first episode audiences ever saw. It's called The Man Trap, and we're gonna watch it today. So I'm joined by esteemed colleague and one of my dearest friends, the ambassador here, and I'm glad you chose that as. I just noticed that you chose that as your as your name, which is so perfect. You are the ambassador.
The
Um,
with the first the unveiling should have been Journey to Babel or something like that.
you mean like the very first episode should have been Journey to Babel?
No, for
Hmm.
the unveiling of the ambassador.
Oh, that's true. That is true, Miss Ambassador Sarek, or Sarek, but also Ambassador Spock, Ambassador Picard,
Yes.
in an alternate timeline. So there's a lot of ambassadors going on. We did have Trek on the Tube here saying you're late. We didn't actually have a time for this. This is an impromptu live stream. So to say something to that, Starfleet Boy is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to.
You're mixing universes there, but that's fine.
So, audience, if you're watching this now with us or later on at home, all you have to do is go to your favorite streaming service or pop in your Blu-ray or DVD or however you're gonna watch this episode and set it up so that it's right at the beginning at 0.00 seconds, minutes, and hours, minutes, seconds, hours become days. And then at the count of three, the ambassador and I are going to hit play. And now you're higher than me. There we go. I don't know why that this is. It just looks prettier, right? Like we're at the same level. um, Anyways, at the count of three, the ambassador and I are going to hit play, and barring any technical difficulties, we'll be able to watch the episode and have our fan commentary along with it. So, are you ready, ambassador?
Ready when you are.
Is there anything you'd like to say about this episode before we start?
We can drill into it later, but this is for me personally. It's my first time drilling back into the original series in a while, and I've never really done it. I haven't really watched them chronologically since the late '90s, when they first aired on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and it's just interesting to see how they're exploring the character dynamics and kind of experimenting. You can see that they've not quite settled on each character's sort of fixed personality traits,
very
which is
cool.
kind of cool to
Yeah,
see.
good. We'll definitely be looking out for that. Nice little statement. So here we go. On the count of three, one, two, three, and we both hit play. We're seeing the Enterprise come onto the screen. Captain's log, sorry, 1513.1. Planet M113. Oh, look, it's Spock, Uhura, and who was that? Was that Mr. Scott?
Sorry, I had a
Oh, we have to do it
malfunction.
again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's start again. Ready? Audience, we're going to roll back to zero. That's okay. We don't actually have anyone in the audience right now because Trek on the Tube went to go take a shower. So. Sometimes this happens. We're sorry for the false start. Whoa, you're
Okay, I think if we do it now, it'll work.
that was some really intense Trackpad slamming there.
All right, ready when you are.
All right, so on three, we'll press play. One, two, three. You still had a problem?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's happening. Netflix was frozen.
Oh, are you watching? Are you? Did you restart your computer before we did this?
No.
You can do it now. It's cool. We'll wait for. I'll just keep the.
If we start now, it should work.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Third time's the charm. This is so cool. We always have a technical problem on Starfleet Voice. It's just like the Enterprise. There's always something. There's always something broken. All right. On the count of three, once more.
One.
Two, three. Did it actually start?
Yes, it started.
All right. Our position orbiting planet M113. I like how he says temporarily in command. I I love that this like the set.
Oh yeah, the sets on Star Trek, the original series, is always great.
This is so cool. So we've seen Uhura, Spock, McCoy, Kirk, and this hot blue shirt who's gonna die.
Oh yeah, this is before we have the red shirts sitting in.
It's true.
You're more likely to die if you're wearing blue.
This looks like it could have been used as like an Aztec type set or something like that. It's very interesting.
And they're using that super light foam that they use to build all these sets.
Mm-hmm. This lighting is just so superb, though. It's like we've been commenting frequently how the show's production value is actually really great. Like I love. Also, the transfer we're watching is a HD remastered version,
Oh yeah,
so all the effects are all remastered. You're watching it on Netflix, right?
yeah.
And that's an unsolicited plug for Netflix, by the way. Look at her. You haven't aged today. And then she looks at Captain Kirk, and she has gray hair. And they do that musical, that dramatic, like. He's probably like, "What's wrong with, what's wrong with McCoy?" And she looks completely different to crewman Darnell.
Wrigley's Pleasure Planet.
Pleasure Planet. Like, what the heck is that? What happens on Wrigley's Pleasure Planet? Is it like what's the planet called in
Risa.
Free Cloud, right? Like
Oh.
in
Oh yeah,
Picard?
there's Free Cloud in Picard. That's like a gambling planet there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrigley's Pleasure Planet.
They're still
This
working
is
out.
what's that? I I really love how they edited the scenes like switching back and forth and you see her in the different ages. That's like
Yeah,
really
it was
and the
really well done.
really well done, yeah. Poor Darnell, he's so sore.
We've got the '60s go-go boots.
This music is so good. I love. Is that like an oboe or something? It's just like very sultry. Yay, we have a member in the audience. If you're just joining us, we are doing a live watch. We're now at the opening credits, and we'll give out some timestamps, but we're at about 3 minutes and 51 seconds, so about 4 minutes in. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has ever gone before, where no one.
We haven't quite achieved the humanism of Captain Picard's age yet.
I think someone pointed out to me that man was supposed to be short for where no human has gone before, but obviously that's very human centric. Also starring Leonard Nimoy as Mr. Spock. Dun 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 dun. So we just finished the credits, and we're at now about 4 minutes 30 seconds. The Man Trap title just appeared on screen. Nice fade. That planet looks really good. Hey, it's Braxton. Hey, Braxton. We're having a great day. We're watching Star Trek: The Man Trap. A different Nancy Crater, and then here's Professor Crater finally. Your sense of beauty is overwhelming. Hey, Tex-Trek is here. Do you want to hop on and watch it with us? You're welcome to. I heard you're doing a stream soon too, so no worries if not. And we want to promote that stream, so let us know what it is if you're going to be going on. With his arcane machinery, he's more cantankerous than Bones is.
Well, Nancy must have a specific taste.
It's true. What you will get is required. It's what's required by the book. I love that. He's so to show your gold braid to everyone. You love it, don't you? For the audience, just if you want to do a time check, we're at 6 minutes 17 seconds roughly. 6 minutes, actually 30 seconds now. He's so suspicious.
Oh my
But for
god.
a woman,
For
you
women, you
understand, of
understand, of
course.
course.
Like a girl of 25. How many years ago he knew her when she was 25, 12 years ago, so she's only like 37, and she has like she appears to Kirk with gray hair. Yay, hello Conti. We have quite a few folks in the audience, so let me just give everyone a time check. So we're watching The Man Trap of your past attachment. um 7:23, so around 7:30, 7 minutes 30 seconds. We're relatively there. Welcome to the stream. Open your mouth. He has like
This is
he,
where this is where we discover that McCoy is a committed Luddite.
it's true. Oh my gosh, there's a scream. And everyone runs out and there's that great music. Do 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 do. Do, do.
So much for Wrigley's Pleasure Planet.
I know. McCoy. He's dead, Jim. That's our
Is that
first.
the
He's dead,
first
Jim.
one?
That's the very first dead Jim. We should probably point
Can we
out
talk
who.
about how like crazy it would be for a trained Starfleet officer to like just go around eating random plants?
It's true. This you're watching my ex-wife. Oh, the episode of the man trap. It's so, wow. That was. I guess we should know the. We should know about opening old wounds. We're at about 9 minutes and 15 seconds, audience, and Nancy Crater's telling us what's going on. He doesn't believe her. He's like, no, no, no. I'm a little baffled. I like how they imply that the planet's really hot and everyone's sweating.
Well, he always has the sheen on his forehead. William
It's true.
Shatner, yeah,
It's true.
the
He
key light.
does. It's true. Oh, right on. Tex-Trek is gonna join us. I don't know why I put that on the. I don't know why I put that on there. Dun, dun, dun. Do you like these remastered effects, Moni?
Yeah, they're great.
Do, do, do. Oh, it did it.
This is a bizarre scene.
Cry. Do you think she's being flirty with him?
Well, I was wondering if this scene was maybe the basis for like Spock and Uhura's relationship in the Kelvin reboot.
It is possible. Fatheree sent you that link on Twitter, good sir. She is. She's. This has to be like kind of what
I don't
that
know if
relationship was based on.
I don't know if she's flirting with him or just toying with him. This is the best part.
I love her reaction there. That framing is so good too, and like the background and the lighting. For anyone joining us right now, hello, welcome back, Trek on the Tube. And here's Fatheree. Yay!
What's up?
Your what's up? So good to have you on this rewatch as well. Father, are you lined up with us?
Yeah, I believe I am.
Go ahead, Mr. Spock. Borgia plant listed as carbon group 3 vegetation. And he talks about tapes in that scene. By the way, Father, meet Monie, the ambassador.
Hi, nice
Hi,
to meet you.
nice to meet you too.
And Trek on the Tube just casually pops in and out of the stream and lets us know his life story. I love it. Thank you. I hope you enjoy your dinner. So for the audience at home, we're at about 13 minutes and 7 seconds. Father, I love this argument. Um, we were talking about how like not everyone's quite formed yet, like in terms of their personalities. It's a little different. And
Yeah, it's particularly rich when Kirk accuses McCoy of thinking with his glands.
I've lost a man. I want to know what killed him. I like the lighting. The lighting's much moodier. Does it get brighter on the ship later on?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, uh, that's my memory at least.
Like even the bridge was kind of like in a darker. I kind of like it. It's not bad. This is classic. We were also talking
It
about
looks good.
we heard the first "He's Dead" Jim
Yeah.
earlier when the ensign died. Jose Dominguez, is that the same guy from the Menagerie?
No, it's a different. It's a different guy. It's a different Commodore, but it's kind of stereotypical that like Captain Kirk picked red Mexican peppers for a guy named Jose Dominguez.
It is
He's like,
actually right.
tell him to calm down. I want to get on his chili peppers.
I
Yeah.
did say that.
For the
True.
time, I guess they're showing off how progressive they are by emphasizing that a Mexican is in command, in the status of Commodore.
Yeah. But
By
if
the
you
way,
want to get him
Fatheree-
off your ass, just get him some chili peppers.
By the way, Father, are you guys being affected by the hurricane?
No, we're far enough inland in Austin that we just get like some stormy weather. We just get like some thunderstorms and some like it might like blow like an old tree over somewhere if like the wind is bad, but that's about the most it'll do here.
You're right. This has a horror vibe to it.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Hey, what timestamp are you at? I think I was ahead of you a little bit.
Oh, okay, sure. Hold on. We'll do an audience timestamp check. We are at 15:33, and then now we're at 15:40,
Okay.
15:46. All right, cool. We're relatively around the same spot. Don't tempt fate, Tex. I love the transfer. Yeah, I know. This guy's so cantankerous.
And I love the like '60s mid-Atlantic accent.
uh, we got some funny stuff in the comments there. Florida's actually the worst state with COVID. I think right now we're like...
y'all are the only state doing worse than us here in Texas.
It's terrible. Salt depletion. How much salt is in a human body?
It's a great question.
Enough to feed the salt vampire. I'm gonna start saying that. It gives me a bellyache, and I got a beauty right now. They had 25 pounds in bottles like that. Like those are salt bottles. It's like something about like salt fresh from a life form must be better than those salt tablets. Do the salt balls make sense to you guys in the context of the 23rd century? What do you mean, like that there could be salt tablets? Like salt tablets now, so yeah, there'd probably be more efficient ways to like add that nutrition to your consumption in the 23rd century, but
yeah, like in the food you eat. I think it's true.
Yeah. But I don't like he might not have access to a food synthesizer, I guess is what it would be called at the time, instead of a replicator. You might just have like whatever food he has like storage of, so that's how he stores his salt.
Oh look, she just like straight. I forget how much carnage is in this episode.
Yeah.
There. By the way, it's salt tablets, not salt balls. Trek on the tube. That's something else. Salt balls are different.
Yeah.
She really does. The actor, whose name I can't remember at the moment, does a really good job of being alien. I think in this episode, she at times where she's like just
Yeah. Good physical acting.
With feral quality, yeah.
yeah.
And then all the other actors who play her have to continue that same vibe.
It's
So,
true.
like this guy, it's really cool how they were able to direct him to do the same thing that she was doing. This
agree.
wouldn't work if it was like jarring. It has to be consistent.
I agree completely. You're absolutely right. This is a really good first episode. Actually, now that I think of it, if it aired, I'd be very intrigued by this. Green, there he is.
Green's a complete creep job.
Oh my gosh.
Stop thinking with your glands.
For real.
I've actually used that line to people before. Sometimes they know what I'm talking about. Sometimes they do not.
I will from now on. He looks so creepy in that scene. Oh, look at that. That's a beautiful shot of the Enterprise.
It is.
Happen. I wish Discovery would just slow down their flybys to like that level. I think they did in season 2 a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this transporter room set is way darker than how it's typically lit.
Typically lit, yeah, I agree. He's so.
It's almost how they light it in the Mirror Universe episode.
Yeah, totally. Actually, you're absolutely right. I like that was that a handheld camera?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, they did a little bit more handheldy stuff in these early episodes. Like even in the Carbonite maneuver, there's some of that too, which was actually the first one shot.
Is this our introduction to Yeoman?
Yeoman Rand.
Yeah,
that's her first time. Grace Lee Whitney, is that right? The actor's name?
Yes.
She's just putting so much salt on that food.
That looks so cool. The blue lights on Spock's eyes with the dark lighting in here.
Yeah, they really nailed it.
It would convey to the audience seeing this for the first time on September 8th, 1966. It would be like, oh yeah, like it's some type of futuristic computer readout, and he's looking in there to like receive some type of data.
It's true.
The sounds are amazing.
I like that the turbo lift sign is just like one of those like like they like you saw them they were ubiquitous like
in the 80s
and the 80s too.
Yeah,
like
we used them at school.
Were they just commenting about having your own personal
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of being progressive,
Starfleet hasn't had its Me Too moment yet.
Apparently.
So why is Ensign Rand eating the captain's lunch? I know she's tasting it. She's
bringing it to Sulu.
Oh, it's Sulu's lunch. Whoa, I forgot about that.
Here's Gertrude.
Did you hear that? The Great Bird of the Galaxy reference.
Yeah.
You could totally tell this is a hand puppet, but I love it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a glove.
It's like, yeah, it's like... Oh my goodness.
So Sulu is in the botany lab.
Yeah,
Do they ever make that connection with him again? I
well,
don't think so.
I think he's just in there as like a hobbyist.
Okay.
But it's interesting because in Where No Man Has Gone Before, Sulu is a physicist. Here he's a botanist. In Shore Leave, they establish he's a weapons expert and like knows all about like antique weapons. So he's like a jack of all
He's
trades.
jack of all trades.
Which is also
Yeah.
supposed to be Chekhov's thing. So they're both like jacks of all trades.
When does Chekhov come in?
I think it's season 2.
That's right.
They're trying to appeal to like the monkeys crowd.
It worked.
It's kind of like how later when the Tribbles will detect Klingons, it's kind of the same thing.
Like it, yeah.
But how creepy is that sound effect of like this plant screaming at the guy?
Yeah, it's totally great.
It's
Sulu's
interesting how they wrote this. Like, it never tries to like trick you about like who the monster is. It keeps showing you everything. It doesn't hide anything from the audience, and so like the suspense and the drama comes from knowing
everyone else.
Yeah, knowing something that the other characters don't. We
It
call
is
it
true,
dramatic
right.
irony.
Yeah. Oh, very nice, Father. Bringing the level up here. I light my room like this at night. I just realized subconsciously I must have I must have been like tuning into that. Audience who are just joining us, I'm gonna give you another timestamp. We're watching The Man Trap. We're about halfway through. There's about 24 minutes left, so we're at 25:35, 25:41. 25.
Like,
so
far, like we're 100% every time a woman walks down a corridor in the Enterprise, she's like trolled by like 4 men.
He's very handsome. Whoever she was thinking of.
Yes, because all Mexicans love peppers and all black people speak Swahili.
Swahili, it's true. Oh, he was about to get her. I just want to point out how gorgeous Nichelle Nichols is. And the way they shoot her. They're not doing the soft focus thing as much here yet.
Yeah. Can I comment on Rand and Sulu kind of being like buddies here? They're kind of like friends. I think that's the only time we see them together until Star Trek 6 when they're both on the Excelsior together.
Oh, really?
Hey, yeah, that's
She's
interesting.
supposed to be his first officer.
That's right, because we learned that from the Voyager episode.
Voyager.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's a great episode. We should watch that on one of these things. I love those beds. I want those. I bet you could buy those sheets.
It's the same fabric they use for the Romulan uniforms.
Oh, you're right. It's true. It does look like it.
The Romulan military and Starfleet have like the same supplier.
It's like The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Now Chihuahua. Maybe she was the mother of Sulu's daughter. Well, we know that. Oh, we don't know who.
That dude's like that dude's radiation suit. That's kind of like what they have in like the movies in engineering.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
oh, yeah, that's right. With these. They use miles instead. Later on, I think they correct it to kilometers. Everyone starts using kilometers in Star Trek.
Yeah, Starfleet was not metric in the original series sometimes.
What's the deal with just like casually eating and having a phaser on on the bridge and like just like he just takes a moment there.
There's a lot of like eating strange, weird colored cube food in this episode.
That needed to be salted.
Yeah.
It was like, MD. They introduce him as the ship's surgeon in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I think ship surgeon is just like a kind of like an unofficial term for the CMO,
Right.
kind of like number one.
This is so sad. Dr. McCoy finally gets a little affection, and it's a salt vampire trying to eat it. Suck the salt out of him.
She doesn't really take an interest in his salt.
I think she's trying to hold on. I think the salt vampire like does two things. Like one, it feeds off of like strong memories or like a strong impression of someone, um, to kind of provide that. Like I think you have to get. I don't know.
I think Dr. Kramer mentions later that they also need like love and companionship.
And
so
yeah, exactly.
I think it's smart enough to know that like there's benefits in keeping certain people alive that might help protect it.
Yeah, that's true. Nice.
So they enhance the effects for all these space shots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a few other things, like occasionally you'll see like an enhanced matte painting or something like that, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautifully lit. I just really am really impressed every time I've been watching these, with the production value, with the direction, with the shots, like the cinematography. It's just so good.
Yeah, I hate when people say like the original series was a cheap show. It was a low budget show because it wasn't. It was a very expensive show. It was a very like difficult production to pull off. And that's one of the reasons why they kept trying to cancel it. But yeah, I mean, it was like the effects that they had were cutting edge and.
Yeah, I used to get into fights with people who like were exposed to originally to the next generation of Voyager, like insist that the original series is actually really great. Doesn't matter.
There's that telltale. It's the salt vampire. So now, being McCoy, you can probably do some maximum carnage there, with everyone coming into sickbay. Look at those reflections and everything on the hull. It's so good. So like, the civilization is interesting because they're archaeologists on this planet, but they have like artifacts that are very Earth centric. I think like that statue of that dragon sitting there.
Yeah, the East Asian dragon.
Because next door they were shooting some movie set in China, and they're like, "Okay, well, props department, go get that dragon thing."
And then this is when they figure it out.
We get a little bit of action right here.
Yeah.
Kind of a standoff type.
I really love the final this style uniform. Now that I'm looking at it, it's really funny how in Discovery all they had to do was change the color of the tops to yellow, blue, and red, and they were already so much more acceptable.
Now we see some of the old uniforms in these hallway shots. Some
Yeah.
like the where no man has gone before uniforms. Like that guy's wearing like Pike's uniform.
Oh, that's right. Those and there's the radiation
There's
guy.
another hazmat suit.
The ones that are like kind of jumpsuits, like the onesies or whatever,
Yeah.
they keep doing that all the way till TNG. Like a lot of scientists and
Hmm.
people wear like stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. Our famous like tumble. Oh, look at that.
And Crater has the laser from the cage
Yeah,
instead of the phaser.
phaser, right? On 1/4. So like
Yeah,
there's a
so
higher setting.
what is 1/4?
Yeah.
That would be like a stun setting.
Well,
Well,
he says
he says
stun is
I'll have mine
different
on
from,
stun.
yeah. Like, was that a lethal setting?
I guess like 1/4 is like a little bit more than stun. I think
Stun,
this is
yeah.
we're about to see the first time somebody gets stunned, and they do like this weird effect on his voice.
Yeah,
Oh, cool. General Quarters 3? Is that what that is?
yeah.
GQ3? Twitchy about it. A merry chase. So, audience, just to give you a time check, we're at 35:56 on this viewing. 36:03 now. Here's Spock. Like in the tight shots, like I totally feel like they're outside. It doesn't feel like they're on a soundstage.
Yeah.
Such a good.
Yeah, it makes it look so fun. Like I want to go be
Yeah,
a Starfleet captain and do shit like this.
it's true. They're like ambushing him. It's pretty cool using their communicators and stuff.
Like that ricochet sound effect.
Oh yeah, look at that. Pew! Hey Caleb, welcome to the live stream. We are watching Star Trek: The Original Series, The Man Trap. And if you want to watch along with us, we're at about 36 minutes and 56 seconds. Let us know if you need another time check if you're gonna queue it up in the comments, and we'll do one at that point.
Yeah, like listen to Crater's voice here after he gets stunned.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, oh, interesting. He sounds drunk.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. It's like the stunned effect.
This is really cool. They don't ever do this again. You just pass out, right? Like
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
To answer your question, we started our episodes with the two pilots, and now we're gonna do it in air date order. So we're starting with the Man Trap today, and
I
then
guess
going
in
into air date.
the 1960s, the buffalo population had not yet rebounded.
The what?
They're talking about the extinction of the buffalo.
Oh,
Well, maybe they all get extinct in World War III.
World War III, that's true.
yeah,
It's
it's true.
fair.
So that could be a Kelvin universe Star Trek: The Voyage Home. They could go back and save a pair of buffalo named George and Gracie instead of whales.
in like the General Quarters 3, General Quarters 4. You know, they've replaced that with like yellow alert, red alert.
Right.
Yeah, I guess they borrowed from U.S. Navy terminology pretty heavily for the first season, the first series.
Yes, the salt monster, correct. Oh yay, Stress Free K's here too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's turned into McCoy now. Yes, you're tuned in. Yay. 39, 22, 39, around that. I love these shots. I thought the CG didn't look as good in the Cage remaster. Here it looks like so good. That was a nice pan. Spock has an extra computer at his station. Is that always the case, or like it's just for this episode?
I love the video conferencing console in the center of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They actually have them in Discovery, which I liked as well.
Yeah, they do.
Your reasoning is reckless.
So we haven't quite developed the Spock McCoy foil just yet.
But there is definitely something there, and
there's the beginnings of it.
And it is the salt monster, the salt vampire, so it's not actually McCoy. McCoy would come back with a wittier response. I forget, do you think Crater knows that that's the vampire? I think he does, right?
He said, I think he just said he can recognize it when it's in its other forms. Sorry, I jumped ahead. super generous to forego charges after he assaulted him with a gun.
Kirk is like a little angry here in a way that you don't often see, I think. He's like threatening to skin them. Like, he's threatening to flay them. She walks and sings in my dreams. Oh, there's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I agree. McCoy's a little too sympathetic. This is the part that makes me really sad about this.
Yeah, Kirk's such a jerk.
I know, he's really Fatheree, in the beginning, they were talking about Wrigley's Pleasure Planet.
Yeah. I wish that they could have used Ryza.
I was thinking the same thing.
And then also the planet in Wolf in the Fold, where they think like Scotty killed a hooker, basically.
I don't remember that episode. That's gonna be fun to like.
It has aged a little problematically, but I really enjoy it. I love the episode.
Oh man. Yeah, it's he goes from like the Cage version of Spock into like his like the way we know him. I feel like here he's pretty close to
Yeah,
Yeah, and the
the
progression
Spock we
is
know.
quite fast. I recall it's
But-
like within a few episodes, his personality is crystallized.
when you see the Carbomite maneuver, he's gonna shift back to like where no man has gone before Spock, because
Right.
that was shot before this one.
In fact, they used a few things from other episodes here, like when Scotty doesn't appear on this episode, but he's on the you hear him say something on the communicator at one point, and they lifted that from another episode. I remember reading that. There he goes. The salt vampire didn't need him anymore.
This is the first time we established Spock being immune to everything.
Yeah,
Yes, really, that's right.
he didn't inherit the cell structure of his mother.
He's still saying my ancestors. Well, this time it really is. He said they evolved in a different ocean.
Have they? I didn't watch the Cage. Do they establish that he's half Vulcan, half human yet?
And where no man has gone before, they established that he's part human. He just says
Okay.
that he had a human ancestor, but he didn't specify his mother.
His mother yet, yeah. This is so good. And look at that. You want this, don't you? Take your salt. Strike me down. uh, look at that. While they're fighting, she just like, and then she can hypnotize you. This is
So great.
This is so great. But this is what everyone talks about. Like, this is where like the big disagreement comes. You're either a Shatner, you either love Shatner's drama style or you like laugh at it, and I love it.
They're all three so good right here.
It's so true.
This is
Why
my
doesn't
favorite.
Spock have a phaser? He's got the phaser belt on.
Yeah,
This is my favorite part.
Yeah, it's really good. She does need a fix, it's true. Salt is like heroin for her, it's true. Oh my god.
This would have been like
Here's
the
the
scariest
reveal.
thing ever. In
Yes,
1966,
I know, it gave me
this was
nightmares.
Scary AF.
Oh my gosh. I have seen really good oh my gosh.
okay. Now, there are deep ethical implications about the next move after this, given that she's the last of her kind.
Well, Lord forgive me. And that's it. Do you think you think he should have stunned her and they should have put her in the brig, right?
Yeah, like
I
why do
agree.
the situation's under control at this point? Why do they kill her?
Maybe the stun setting didn't work. They could have added that little extra bit, but
Yeah.
who knows? Sean agrees with you.
Well, I mean, like he shot it one time, it was still coming towards them. He had to shoot it again, and it died. Like,
I mean, it's
It is what it
possible.
is.
It's possible the second stun killed it. They didn't anticipate it, but the Lord
Right.
forgive me part leads me to believe otherwise.
Well, we
Well,
have
maybe
to.
maybe he had it on like the highest stun the first time he shot, and then when that didn't kill it, he had to turn it up into the kill settings.
Also, I would
But
say that
there's some remorse here because he's thinking about the buffalo as they leave the planet.
All those poor buffalo that died in World War
That,
III.
Look at that. I don't know if we see that rear shot
Yeah,
with the engines.
I had the same reaction.
With not the
That's a
engines,
cool
the
shot.
sorry, the nacelles. Yeah, we don't see it often. I don't know if it was like that in the original.
We see it again.
We do.
I think in the original, it was just like the planet gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
That was such a cool thing to watch together. We have a couple of comments, and also I just want to say that about killing the salt monster, salt vampire. Also, think of like McCoy in that moment must have been like, because the salt monster must have killed the real Nancy, right? Like,
Yeah.
was that
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah, Professor Crater said that because he said like I almost killed it and it killed her.
Oh, right. He did say that explicitly.
Yeah, so like I feel like at that point it was like if the being is in fact, the last of its kind, it it shows intelligence, like, and things like that, then like yes, it is sad to have killed it, but it had killed so many that, like it could definitely have subsided on just salt tablets. It didn't need to be killing people.
Yeah, I mean, my interpretation is just like, okay, Kirk, Spock, McCoy, all their lives are in danger.
Mortal
He needs to
grave
keep
danger,
shooting
yeah.
this thing until it stops. And
We had an interesting. Yeah, no,
that
you're right.
ended up
I agree.
killing.
I agree. We had interesting comment from Pop Culture Caleb about I don't know whose idea it was to air the episodes out of production order. So one episode Spock is all smiles, and the next he's all stoic, and also the uniform changes and all that. I don't know why they aired them that way. I think it's just
was
that they
common.
decided. Yeah, I guess it was.
They shot episodes with the intent of being able to air them in whatever order they felt was the most convenient. And some shows still do that. Like I think like Law and Order does that all the time. They might air like the 5th episode that they shot for that season might air first.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually happened a little bit in other Star Trek shows, not as much, but there's actually discrepancies between the production order and the air date order.
I agree. Not anymore, right?
No.
I guess now they're all shot in sequence.
That's like in The Next Generation when they shot the episode where Skin of Evil, where Tasha Yar dies. They actually shot another episode after that, Symbiosis, where Tasha Yar is still. I think that's it, Symbiosis. That was the one with like the people having to take the drugs to the planet. It had like the guy from Joaquin from Wrath of Khan, wasn't it?
Right.
Anyway, they shot that one after they'd already killed Tasha Yar. And so that's why there's that one shot at the end where you can see Denise Crosby like waving goodbye at the camera in the shuttle bay in the background if you look for it.
I didn't
never
realize
noticed that
that.
before.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But they aired them in the correct order, so you see her alive there, and then you see her die.
Interesting.
But yeah, just for
I
whatever
was gonna
reason,
make this
the production schedule. That was the way that they did it.
Trek on the Tube says they could have at least done a taxidermy, and I was gonna make the same joke. You beat me to it. I think Lorca had a stuffed salt monster in his secret chamber. It's true.
How do we know that they didn't do that? That might be
true.
at the Daystrom Institute back on Okinawa.
Supergirl season 1 flipped 2 episodes due to the Paris terrorism acts. Oh, interesting. Always with the French facts.
Back in 2015.
It always ties into France somehow for you. Trek on the Tube. So yeah, that was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a strong. I'm looking forward to our casual and informal discussion of this episode, but watching it here with you guys, it was fun, and I feel like it was a pretty strong episode. We see everyone except Chekhov, who comes in season 2, and Scotty. I think
Scotty, I didn't think was in the episode. Yeah,
he was only there by voice. It's true.
It's not until season 3 that Scotty's in every episode.
He's like in every episode in season 3.
He's in every episode in season 3, yeah, I believe.
Wow.
That was like in James Doohan's contract to come back that year.
Good on James Doohan. He was like, I need to be in every episode, and they were like, all right, fine, we'll do it.
Yeah, but
On
like Uhura and Sulu, that they only show up sometimes. So
I was gonna say on Memory Alpha, I was reading. Where is it? Let me see if I can pull it up. That it was poorly received. Variety published a negative review of Star Trek on September 14th
oh no.
issue. Yeah, the Man Trap, stating that the series won't work. The reviewer said Star Trek is dreary and confusing, stating that it would be better suited to the Saturday morning kid vid block, and surprised the show actually made it to television, concluding the leading performers were trying to appear credible. How terrible! That's like such a terrible review.
The person is
TV
feel really dumb now that if
Yeah.
they're still alive.
Yeah, it's totally true. TV Guide also gave it a negative review, which later on TV Guide loved the hell out of Star Trek. I remember growing up and seeing Star Trek on a lot of TV Guides
Oh, yeah.
when it was in syndication. So
Yeah,
that's
like in the
interesting.
90s too, they were like whenever there's gonna be like something new and like one of the shows, they'd put it on like the cover of TV Guide. I remember there was like this. That's how I found out the Borg were gonna be in Voyager, because there was like
Oh wow,
TV Guide had like a picture of a Borg and it said the Borg is back, and I was like, shouldn't it be like the Borg are back?
are back.
There's like a story in there about like, yeah, the Borg are going to be in Star Trek Voyager. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's funny. This was the first Star Trek episode that David Gerald viewed. Watching it upon its first airing, Gerald was thrilled by what he saw, later reminiscing, I watched it eagerly. I was amazed that something this imaginative had made it to television. So, yay, I like that. The episode also made an impression on future Star Trek Enterprise staff writer Chris Black, who was in kindergarten at the time he saw the installment. I remember seeing the M113 creature. Oh, that's cool. That's the correct name for it, because they don't actually call it the Salt Vampire, right? In the episode, or do they?
No,
No.
it might have been in the script, but that's
Script or something like that, yeah.
It's kind of like a out of universe thing.
And running out of the room in terror. I do remember being scared when I was a kid too. Actress Grace Lee Whitney considers the Armageddon scene of Rand and Sulu as one of her favorite scenes of the series. That's really nice. It's like that because it's the only time it's like that. She recalled that shooting the scene was quite funny, and the entire cast and crew were in a lighthearted atmosphere. Some crude jokes were told in connection with Beauregard and her, and even the puppeteer below the table, Bob Baker, uh, any relation to Kenny Baker, tried to reach for her short skirt with the puppet. What? Whitney later described this episode as filled with plenty of horrific and suspenseful moments. It was a great debut episode for the series. Wow, people were really frisky on the set back then.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Consistent with the general treatment of women on the episode.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure from that description if she was like down with it or not.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's true. She did say she was very fond of that scene, so I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe she was like in on the fun.
In the in the '83 documentary Star Trek Memories, I kind of remember seeing that. Nimoy mentioned that NBC chose to air this episode first, since, at least to the network, it was proper science fiction with a proper alien menace. That's something we were talking about on our other discussion, so very true.
Oh yeah.
In William Shatner's memoir, he also called Star Trek Memories. He calls this episode a dreadful show, one of our worst ever. I wonder if Shatner still feels that way.
Interesting.
I wonder what he specifically did not like about it. That would be really cool to find out. I guess I'll have to read Star Trek Memories. Um, and the sick bay is called the dispensary in this episode.
Weird.
It's where you get your space marijuana.
Well, they later will call it like medical, like on in the Kelvin movies and on Discovery. I was like, I want you to just say sick bay, like most
Right.
Star Trek shows.
I guess you could also call it the infirmary, which they refer to the.
Well, that was on
in Deep
DS9.
Space Nine. Yeah, it's true.
But when they were on the Defiant, it was called sick bay. There's only the infirmary on the station.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right. That's
I
true.
mean, that makes sense.
Some things going on in the chat that I've lost track of. Something about Agnes's tears. Girardi, we're talking about Girardi in I don't know how we got there. I'll have to. Oh, Agnes and the Salt Monster do have similar character arcs. Oh, interesting. But Agnes survives. That's an interesting way to look at it. I got to think about that for a second.
She was a man trap for poor Bruce Maddox.
She really was. Oh my gosh, that was a good joke. Boom boom. Rios is in love with Agnes. His love will save her, I think. They're not going to let her go to prison. Trek on the Tube wants justice for Maddox, by the way. He's really, every time, like, post Star Trek Picard, every time we see Agnes, he's like, she's got to get arrested. She's got to go to jail. She has to serve time. Like, justice.
She's under mind meld duress.
It's true. I agree.
I'll give her a pass on it.
I agree. She was totally brainwashed. A cat version of the man trap was featured in Jenny Park's 2017 book, The Star Trek Cats. That's a really awesome book. I have it, and and there's also you can get that like artwork with Star Trek Cats on the official Star Trek store, which is pretty cool as well. Original US Betamax/VHS release was in 1985. And then let's see here. The original DVD release was in 99. And I guess they don't tell you the Blu-ray. There is a Blu-ray release, but it doesn't tell you what day when it.
2008, I believe.
So the I don't know how to say her name. It's either Jeanne or Jean Ball plays Nancy Crater, a.k.a. the M113 creature. Alfred Ryder played Robert Crater. And then that's it. I think there's a lot of references, but we'll let Trek on the Tube. We'll give a shout out right now to Trek on the Tube's video that you can all go and check out, where he reviews the original series. And so the Man Trap is up right now. There will be a link to it in the description of this video. Any closing thoughts, guys, on the Man Trap before we before we say goodbye on this live stream?
No, my closing thoughts were really the same as my opening thoughts.
Which you gave, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this episode will always like have the honor of being like the first episode, the premiere of Star Trek. So, it'll always have that special spot in Star Trek history.
Is that
Oh
Humbert?
wow! Yeah, Humbert's here. Hi to all. I know someone who purchased the original Salt Vampire mask and brought the props to my job so I could see it. It was very cool. Oh, the original mask was like the one used in this episode. That's pretty cool. Do you have pictures of that? Can you send that over? I know you called during our during our thing. I couldn't pick up. So hello to the doctor. It's nice to have you in the stream. Have you been there the whole time? I love it. Very nice, very nice. I guess my closing thought is that, like, yeah, I was. I haven't seen this episode. I've seen this episode lots of times, but I haven't seen it in like probably a year. And watching it through this lens of like critique. Oh no, he hasn't been there the whole time for my question. I don't know why I got distracted. The chat's so distracting, uh, but it held up. And what the thing I think, like, you 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 have a lot of things that obviously are, like, by our standards today, we look back and we discussed it during our rewatch, that don't kind of vibe anymore with our modern our current sensibilities, but at the same time there's still a lot of heart in it. And I just really like that, like, the first story was more about McCoy. It was more about a character other than Captain Kirk, which is an interesting way to, like, open a series. Like, even though Captain Kirk's like the main character here, we're really, like, focused on Bones and his thing. And so I could see why like, if you're watching it in order, you could another reason to start with Dr. McCoy is I think he's the most kind of balance. He's the balance between Kirk and Spock, right? Later on, like, he's always the one that's kind of in the middle on things.
Isn't Kirk the one in the middle? Because Spock is always like cold scientific logic, and McCoy is always very like emotion driven, like bleeding heart, compassion.
Yeah, I'd say McCoy's often prone to hysterics.
I guess when they're arguing, that's true. But, like, I mean, just in general, like, I feel like Kirk kind of needs, they're the devil and the angel on his shoulders, so to speak, right? And so you're right, he is kind of in the middle in that sense. But, like, in another sense, I think he's the most, like, Kirk is like the ship's captain, and he has to, like, make decisions that are sometimes, like, really callous or cold. And McCoy's, I guess, not the middle is not what I wanted to say, but he's like the most, like, the audience, like, don't do it, like, Jim, think about it, like, that's what I guess I meant.
And he is kind of the most relatable. Like, he's the closest one to a modern day human on the show.
That's the better word. Thank you, Fatheree. He's the most relatable, I think, to the audience, and I think it was a great way to kind of start out.
It's just an old country doctor.
He's just an old country doctor. So yeah, audience, thank you for joining us. We're gonna we're gonna close out on Trek on the Tube's comments. Spock is just the odd one out. Anyways. Oh, interesting. I never hear noises from the outside audience. It's the salt vampire coming to get me. Anyways, Fatheree and the Ambassador Monie, thank you for joining us today. Audience, thank you for joining us. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday at 3 p.m. when we have our casual and informal discussion about this episode. If you're watching this on a playback, I hope you enjoy our commentary. We were actually pretty transfixed by this episode, so there wasn't a lot of talking, but I think you'll enjoy our comments as we go along, and we'd love to hear more about it in the comments. Father, you're going on live today too, or you're doing something today, right?
I actually just released it right before hopping on here.
Awesome.
Yeah, our latest podcast is now available, and it's all about the Star Trek Universe panel at San Diego Comic-Con at home that happened Thursday. We basically break down all of the Star Trek relevant stuff we got out of Comic-Con, including the clip and behind-the-scenes information on Star Trek Lower Decks.
Cool. Most excellent. Monie, if you haven't had a chance to watch the whole panel, it's pretty cool. They announced a show called Star Trek Prodigy, which is going to air on Nickelodeon, and they gave us a clip from Lower Decks, which looks really funny. I'm like totally into it. All right, everyone, live long and prosper, and we'll see you next time.